Let's make a tier list for patch 22.0. Last tier list I made was for patch 21.3, I think, which is over a month ago. We got some new heroes, we got the armor system, we got a bunch of other things changing, the meta, Diablo is gone. If you're having trouble knowing what is strong right now or how to play, what the meta is like, hopefully this video can help you out a bit. Before we jump into it, real quick, I want to mention that more than half the people that still watch these videos are not subscribed, so if you're enjoying the kind of content I make for Battlegrounds, don't forget to click that subscribe button. And I also relaunched my second channel where I post a bunch more random content for Battlegrounds that doesn't fit on the main channel. So if I just have cool ideas but I don't have the time to make it a full polished video, I'm gonna put them over there, so check it out. So AFK got some armor, sometimes 10 armor, and tier 3 is pretty good. So I think she actually moved still in D tier, but probably more to the higher end. And when we look at Zamzarak, he's still, I think, C tier. He's just a whatever hero most of the time. You have an ice block, that's pretty much it. Alakira is still one of the better tempo heroes that will stay in B tier. And Alexstrasza, I think, was C tier. But she did get a little bit better because dragons are in a better spot. And she has a bunch of armor as well to work with. So I think she's now on the higher end of C, but still a bit of RNG involved. Arana is gonna stick in F tier. Party Rock is okay, but it just gets counted too easily. Lord Barav is now back in the game. He was out for a little bit because Diablo kind of messed up his hero power, the Diablo turns. He's definitely going to be A tier. He's one of those heroes that really rewards skilled players. Bigglesworth probably sticks in D tier, not too great. So Blackthorn will still be B tier. He probably moved up a little bit higher because Kibler's got buffed and power leveling also gets a little bit more rewarded. Carial, still a shit hero. Same with Shanvala. I think Shanvala used to be one of the worst in the previous tier list. Now I think I'm going to put it a little bit higher, or at least ahead of Arana, because higher roll elementals on higher tiers is now just a little bit better than Arana. Which is just tempo elementals on tier 2, a 3. Because there is more greed, since Diablo is removed, you can now level more aggressively, do more high rolly and greedy plays. The games usually early on are way less aggressive, so because of that, you will see some tempo heroes shift down a bit and some greedy heroes actually be able to move up. Plus the armor also makes it that greed gets a bit more rewarded since you have more health to work with. Cookie, he is definitely A tier as well. Is he better than Barav? I'd say probably, because he's more consistent. He just guarantees if you power level 3 on 3, get a good card and you'll be ahead most of the time and be able to high roll. While with Barav, you still need to make your money work for you. Katoon, I think he just stays D tier. I'll put him ahead of these two because Katoon is a bit more consistent, but he's not in a great spot. Curator, I'll put D tier, but very low. Deathwing was top of D tier. I think he stays there. He could maybe move to C tier. I'm not quite sure, but he's just great with tempo max and that's about it. And maybe beasts. Dancing Daryl, I think was top of A tier, but because things are going greedier, I'll move him back to still on A tier, but a little bit down. He's very consistent. You should definitely learn him. I do have a guide on him if you want to learn how to dance properly and get good stats. But this guy will still get top 4s, just not really first places. Dino Tamer Brand, I think, was B tier, but I'm definitely moving him up, and maybe even before these tempo heroes, because now this assumes that there's tokens in the lobby. High roll again is rewarded, and he gets a bunch of armor, so early on you can just try and farm pairs and tokens and then level and hit a bunch of triples, and your brand can, well, kind of explode. Now I will mention that most of these heroes I'm rating on a good lobby. I'm not just gonna put them in the worst lobby. Like for example, without tokens, Brand is F tier probably, but I'm gonna mainly assume that you know how to play this hero in the right lobby. Edwin was B tier surprisingly. I think I'm moving him to C tier. He just isn't that great. I might even consider putting him lower than Alex, but I think, you know, he's just a bit more consistent than Alex. He was in a decent spot when you could just play tempo max tier 3, 4, but right now that's not gonna be enough anymore. So he'll still be a decent tempo hero, just not really compared to these. Elise Starseeker, I'll put her F. She's just not great. I'll put her even below these two. She used to be D tier, but there's too much power creep right now. She just can't keep up. Eudora, I put in C tier, but now because of armor and because again you can live longer and high roll more, and tier 4 is so great, I think she's gonna move to top of C. I'd honestly pick her over any of these heroes. I'm not gonna rate Finley because Finley could be any hero. I feel like it's really awkward to rate this guy because, you know, you just take him if your other heroes are trash. Royal was bottom A. I think he stays relatively the same. You still just high roll your Murlocs, and some games you just win on the spot. Other games you'll have to work for a top 4 but still get there very often. I might actually put him in front of Daryl. which some people might not agree with, but I know that I'll perform much more consistent knowing how to play Flurgle than knowing how to play Daryl. Because with Daryl, you can still get screwed over much easier than with Flurgle, I think. Since you're much more reliant on your shops, and with this guy, you can force the cards that you need. Galakrond was B tier, but I mean, I'm gonna put him top of B. I think he definitely proved himself recently with just hero power into a Witch Ring or Dazzling Light spawn and winning from there. Galewing, still in a great spot. He'll still be A tier. He is a little bit worse than Cookie though, to be honest. And now Gallywix, I think, is the big change. I have the latest tier list on my left screen, so I can kind of compare how heroes are moving. And I think, where was he? He was B tier, and he's definitely S tier right now. If you don't know how to play Gallywix, I've put up a couple videos of him on the channel, but he is absolutely nuts in the right lobby with elementals, with tokens, with pirates. He, I think, is the biggest shift because he got so much armor. I felt like he was going to get nerfed armor-wise in this patch, but he wasn't. Yeah, he just feels way too strong right now. Then we have George. He was A tier, but I've been feeling like he's too slow right now. There's just too much going on. And his hero power, just giving Divine Shields, gets countered too easily. And with the fall off of Grey Spot, he isn't the best anymore, or not that great. I think I'm still putting him B tier, and I think even behind Galakrond, which is a spicy take, but I'm sticking with it. Greybow surprisingly was C tier, also because Avenge was so good. Now with Tank being nerfed and all that stuff, I think he moves down to B, and I'll put him still ahead of D. Sure, but I think he dropped out of C. Guff is shit. I think Guff is one of the worst heroes in the game right now. Hooktusk will stay S tier. Even in no token lobbies, you can still easily farm triples. Of course, she's worse in no token lobbies, but in token lobby, she's almost unstoppable. Demon Hunter was D tier, but I'm gonna be honest, I think that's still too high. This guy definitely belongs in F tier. Jandas, I'll put S. I'm actually gonna put her behind Gallywix. I've seen a lot of Jandases actually get top 8. Maybe because of the Diablo meta. Now, I haven't played too much Jandas after Diablo being removed. She's probably a lot better now. So with Diablo, I'll probably put her A or B. So if you have tokens in the lobby, if you have Murlocs, or even without, I think her hero power is still way too good. But I actually think Gallywix might, you know, on average get better placements than Jandas right now. Lord Rexus, I mean, this is a clear F tier hero. Kaltas is a decent tempo hero. I'll put him in D tier. Crag, surprisingly, Crag was in D tier. He definitely got a lot better though because of his armor and because of the meta getting greedier. I almost want to just jump him up 2 tiers straight to B, but I think that's overkill. I'll just put him top of C for now. Then we have Illidan the Demon Hunter. No, what? Then we have Kurtrus, who in my last tier list was A tier, surprisingly, but I haven't seen too much of him recently. The tempo from him also fell off. I think he's just going to be B tier, and I think he's actually going to be maybe still ahead of Death Speaker, but that's about it. Lich King is also still just a B tier hero that is okay, you know, in the right lobby. He's decent, he's not amazing. Lich Bazial is in an interesting spot. She's always in an interesting spot. Last time I've actually put her bottom C. I think that is probably too high for the current meta. I'll put her here in D, still ahead of some of these heroes because I think she has more potential, but she of course also has more potential to get 8th place. She's just a very hard hero to play, but not impossible. Maiev, I think Maiev is actually in a pretty good spot right now. Last time I put him bottom B, I think ahead of Death Speaker. I think right now he's gonna move up a little bit in B because I've played this guy to really great extent right now since tripling into 6 drops actually becomes fairly consistent. I'm gonna put him more towards the top of B. I keep saying him, it's a her. Sorry, I don't want to offend anyone, but I'm really bad with pronouns for heroes in case you haven't noticed. Malygos was C tier. Essentially, it's some sort of Hooktusk. I definitely think Malygos is moving up to B tier. I think Malygos has proved himself recently worthy of finding a lot of token triples as well and pairs on tier 1. He might honestly even be better than George and Bren, but I think it's too early to say that. We need a bit more evidence, especially since this meta is still developing. Milhouse, he was very high on A tier. I think he is still very high on A tier. Maleficent was F tier. I think she's probably bottom D tier because I'd pick her over Curator most days. Would I take Cat over her? Probably. I think this is fine. Monkey Man, I'll put bottom D tier as well. Mutinous, now this guy, one of my favorite heroes since forever. I'll put him A, and I'm probably putting him ahead of all of these heroes. Maybe even over Milhouse. It depends on the kind of lobby, but I guess in a perfect lobby I would still take Milhouse over Mutinous. Also, in case you were wondering why this hero portrait is smaller, It's because on the Hearthstone website, some hero portraits for whatever reason are smaller than others. I can't really help it. Master Nguyen is still a really good hero. Would I take him over some of these? Probably not. I'll put him in the middle of A. I think previously he was top A. Nos can be bottom C. Nazov also stays, you know, D tier, probably ahead of all of these. Omu. Now, Omu was S tier, but I think he moved just to the top of A tier. He's still an insane hero, but I don't think he quite compares to these right now. And Patches was top C tier, but win rate wise on HS replay, he's one of the best heroes for whatever reason. And also Pirates are just in a great spot, they got buffed, and I've been having a lot of fun and good games with him. So I think I might move him to the top of B tier, or maybe even A tier. Is that crazy? I'll put him A. I think I would actually take him over Dancing Daryl and Galakont and George. Alright. Let's start a heated debate in the comments. Where would you put Patches? I'm interested to see what everyone's experience has been with this guy. Patchwork will still stay F tier. Last time he was D tier, but I think because every hero now has armor, his hero power literally became more useless. He probably fits in right about here. And then Pyramid also just has a horrible hero power. I've seen a Pyramid with a very interesting Trickster build, which is a demon on tier 1 that, you know, Death Rattle gives his health to other cards. That was a cool thing that I want to try at some point, but other than that, I don't see anything working with him. Queen Whack-Toggle also just belongs right here. Probably ahead of these two, but still trash. Rafam, I'll put A tier. He actually fell off quite a bit. I'll put him just somewhere in the middle. Ragnaros is just a tempo hero, not great right now. I think we put him top of D. I think previously he was C tier, but yeah, it's just not good enough. +6/+6 a turn. Rakanishu is again one of those tempo heroes that is just not good at all, so I'll put him somewhere here, bottom D. Now the Red King don't get baited by the armor. He can get up to max armor, but he's still trash. Probably better than most of these heroes, so I'll put him here, but that's about it. Now Reno is in a really cool spot. He was bottom A, and I think I'll put him here. And actually I'll move Galewing down a bit. I realized that I probably would take most of these heroes over Galewing. Then we have Sarfang. He also belongs just around the middle of D together with these tempo heroes. He's kind of whatever. Now the new heroes Cabs, let's think about him. I've played a couple of games with him already and I've seen a lot of good positive feedback on him as well. He seems like he really has a lot of potential. I would take Scabs over most heroes right now because of how good he is and how consistent. I think I would put him actually right here, right behind Omu. You know what? I'm gonna put it ahead of Omu. I think he is very close to being S tier, but I'll just put him top of A. Shadowwalk in the right lobby, and now because he has armor, I put him top of B. He probably fell off a little bit. I'll put him right here. I think Brand might be actually a bit more consistent nowadays. Silas, pretty average hero. I'll put him in C, and I actually think I would still take Adora over Silas. Cindy is probably the best hero in F tier, so the best trash hero that you can have. Okay, we're almost done with the tier list, so stick around. Sneed has to be A tier. This icon is also a bit smaller than the others. Now, where exactly? Because of the tank nerf, I actually haven't seen Sneed do that well recently. I'm honestly gonna put him bottom of A. I think all of these other heroes are just a bit more consistent. Like the early tempo with his fell off since the removal of Diablo and since heroes like getting spikes on higher tiers now. Tamsin, okay, we have a new worst hero in the game. Tess actually might be in a somewhat decent spot. I would put her C tier. I think they were D tier previously, but I would take this girl over most of these heroes. Also, gotta remember there is playstyle difference and preference. Like sometimes you just prefer playing a bad hero over a good hero because it's more fun, but I'm trying to be as objective as possible here about the power level. Ticketas, probably bottom C tier. Toki was D tier, but I think she might have moved up to C tier as well. Since tier 4 is still pretty good, and now there's less early pressure from Diablo, so Toki curve works. Otherwise, on Toki curve, on the turn that you greeted, you would face a Diablo, and that would be a big ass hit. And you have armor to save you for a bit. Vol'jin I put B tier mainly because of, you know, the Terragos interaction and because he's pretty decent, but honestly, Vol'jins haven't been doing great. So I think he dropped to C somewhere. Let's put him right about here. Cirella is still very much an A tier hero. Probably about here. Yogg was a C tier hero, although I really don't see Yogg doing well right now. I would pick him over most of these heroes, but I think I'll just leave him top of D tier. Ysera was A tier, then Diablo got in the game and Ysera just kept dying left and right and probably fell off to B tier. But right now, It's an interesting spot. I need to admit I haven't played her enough since well, the new patch hit, but I'd assume she's still A tier, just not where she used to be. Maybe better than Sneed, sure. Then we have Yashiraj, who was in the middle of D tier, and I think I still agree with that. I'll put him about here or here. Sure. Actually, let's move him up a bit. Most of these D tier heroes are just tempo heroes right now, and since things are shifting, I assume he would be a little bit better. Last but not least, Zephrys. In Diablo meta, he fell off a lot. He just kept dying. Previous tier list, apparently he's B tier. I think he still belongs somewhere here. Probably right about here, just dead in the center of B. And that is a full tier list. If you want to see it or have a picture of it or whatever, I'll leave the link down in the description where you can download it. Also, I did this video a bit different than usually. I've tried a bunch of things, like a 2-minute short recap of the tier list. I've tried just an explanation of every single hero. But I've gotten feedback that maybe you guys would like to see me make a tier list and explain my thought process that way and compare it to the previous one. So let me know if you like this format. If you did, I'll do it more. If you didn't, I'll experiment more, you know. That's what I like doing, testing out what is fun for you and not. That's about it. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like the video, all that stuff. Leave some feedback, leave your thoughts below, or don't. You know, you're free, it's your time, spend it however you like, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.